live instantaneously or a few seconds afterwards
Here we are.
onto Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So I hope you are all out there. And I was debating on whether or not I should do the music, and I decided tonight we're not going to do it.
And we're live on Twitch.
We're on YouTube.
It should be. I have learned that. I thought before it would be like 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, but on YouTube it pretty well goes instantaneously. But anyway, welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. I have the whole gang here, and we even got Steve Good to join us tonight.
Hey, guys.
And we're just gonna sit around chit chat. It's no improv as far as what we're gonna talk about and what we're gonna do. It's pretty much just open discussion. If you have any questions that you would like to ask us, put it over there on YouTube and Facebook and anywhere, Twitch. And we'll try to, and I would ask that I know Al and Brenda are really pretty good about that. And also Jim Bashir's about helping out, about looking at those and asking questions. We are live. I can see us. Yep. So if you would be so kind to help me monitor those areas, I would appreciate it. So I don't have a real big entry other than I would like to talk about my experience on Thursday going to the grocery store. Now, I know that everybody's like in this big thing about being able to go to the grocery store. We have a local grocery store called Publix, and it's in the Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North and South Carolina. It's like, but they are fantastic. Let me tell you, that's about the cleanest stores that I've ever seen in my entire life. And plus their produce is like number one. So I went up there the other day because I had a absolutely emergency. And I already told Brenda about this. I forgot that I was running out of my favorite creamer for my coffee. And I was in there the last time I was in there, I was looking for it and they weren't in there. So I ran out. So the night before I said, by God, I'm getting up in the morning and being there. So I get there bright and early. There's probably 3 or 4 people in line getting ready to get inside Publix. And numerous other people come back. Everybody, I will have to admit, played the 6-foot rule. There was nobody jumbling up on each other. It was all like, it was pretty much everybody staying away. The lady before the door come out and she said, the manager, and she goes, if you're standing here waiting for toilet paper, tissue paper, any of the paper products, she goes, unfortunately, we don't have them. They did not come on the last shipment. So if that's what you're waiting for, you might as well go home because we don't have them. Well, about 5 or 6 people left because that's obviously what they were looking for. And then she let the rest of everybody filed in just nice. It wasn't a big trying to butt in front of everybody. We all went in there nice. And I went through, and I will have to admit, everybody pretty much stayed to the 6-foot rule. Now, when you're walking down an aisle and there's 2 buggies and you're passing somebody, there's no way you can stay 6 foot apart. Not in any grocery store. But everybody, I have to admit, was very cordial, nice, and all that stuff. Now, Publix, I will have to say, is going through all their cashiers. They're putting plexiglass up in front of them to protect the cashiers from the people coming up in line. But it was a nice experience. I wasn't worried about it, and everybody stayed away from each other. And I thought to myself, that's what I think we all need to do, and that's what we all need to think about. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are not I want to say it, not binding to the rules or whatever, and they're being like a-holes. But in the same aspect, it was a very, very, very pleasurable experience for that.
Russ, up here by Chicago, we do that plexiglass stuff for our cashiers too, but it's just to protect against gangbangers. We were way ahead of the curve on that because they're all over the place now.
I wouldn't have went that far, Jim.
Leave that
and I will tell you this: the week before I went to the store, and there was she was probably 18, 19, 20 years old. And when I went through the line, I kind of like jokingly told her, I said something about, I hope you stay safe. And she goes, it's really hard for me to stay safe because, they're making me work. And I looked at her and I said, sweetheart, let me explain something to you. Your job is just as important as a firefighter, a cop, or an ER nurse, or anybody else. I said, people need food. They have to come through this line, and you're sitting here and checking them out. So your job right now is just as important as any of those people. And I said, I thank you for that. And she smiled real big, so you have to admit, these grocery tellers, these young ladies that are out there scanning your groceries, they're in the front lines, dude. I noticed how
that was somebody else's turn to talk.
I'm like,
sorry, I was typing it.
Bossy Man's got a question for Steve. He says, Steve, good. When are you going to put some Australian patterns on your blog?
Yeah, I saw his question. Here's the problem. My blog goes out to over 100 countries. So who do I pick and who do I not pick? So
he'd say Australia.
Yeah. I get that question a lot, but it's almost impossible.
Yeah, you can't keep everybody happy.
Toss a kangaroo in there every once in a while and you'll be covered.
I actually did I've done 2 Australian patterns, and I've done 1 for Canada, or 2 for Canada. And I think that's it. But I tried to avoid that because every time I do something like that, I'll get 1,000 emails the next day wanting to know why I chose them and not Germany or not Poland or.
Well, Steve, maybe you should make lemonade out of it. As you get them, you'll say, okay, this is the list, and you're 17th on the list, or I'll add you to 18th, and then just keep it going.
And if you keep complaining, you come off the list.
Yeah, there you go. Go further down.
Every time somebody from your country emails me, you go back to the bottom, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. There was a joke about that. That I'll have to remember. I'm not going to say it right now, but there was a joke about that. It was debit. When back in the day when you overextended yourself, and the debit collectors used to call you all the time and asking, and I remember. And so the debit collector called the guy and said, we want to be paid and everything. He goes, well, let me explain something to you. It's like this. I take all my debts and I put it into my hat and I shake it around and I pull one out, and that's the one I pay. He goes, well, that's not excess acceptable for what we're wanting. He like chewed the guy's ass out for a few minutes. And he goes, let me explain something to you. The next time, I'll just take your name out of the hat.
I got it.
I remember one when there was checks and stuff. The collector walked up to me and said, hey, we need you to pay us. And I said, hey, I have no money. He says, well, can't you just write us a check? And I said, oh, a check? Yeah, I can write you a check. I got a check. Anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was funny. Okay. It was just.
What do you mean I'm overdrawn? I still have checks in the checkbook.
Exactly. Or you go down to the supermarket, cash a check, and hope it floats to Monday before you can make a deposit.
For those young ones out there, a check is a little piece of paper.
All right, Mr. Steve Good, what has changed in this COVID-19? Stay the hell away from everybody. What's changed in your life?
Well, I can talk a little bit about the traffic to the blog, which is kind of interesting. The first probably week of everything kind of blowing up, the traffic took a nosedive.
Really?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it zoomed back up and went higher than ever. So I guess people got home and they were nervous, or they were preparing themselves for whatever they needed. They were shopping or whatever they were doing. But now that they've everybody's kind of got in their house, they're making up their mind, this is what I'm going to do. I can only do so much. And now they're looking for something to do. And I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of people. My emails probably, they didn't double, but they got close to it. And it's the kind of emails from people that are new. So there's a lot of people at home right now that are looking for something to make, do some time, kill some time. And they're showing up at the blog. So it'll be interesting to see when this is all done, if, assuming any of us have any money left, if the hobby will grow any.
Right.
Well, everybody's living vicariously through the internet now. That's right now. That's pretty much all you have.
Yeah.
And these types of hangouts and stuff where everybody can get together is been pretty much a godsend for a lot of people.
And you're right, Russ. And Netflix, Hulu, all of them were told to scale back on their broadcast media. In other words, instead of putting it out on 1080, go back to 720 to be able to save some bandwidth, because because they were told you're going to crash the internet. In other words,
Wow.
That's
if
interesting.
If the crash now, we would be in big trouble because nobody knows what to do with themselves anymore.
Well, and you're right. You're right. We've so become dependent, and I myself, if I wanted to talk to my friends, I just bring up a hangout, so to speak, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that there's a lot of people out there that can't do that, and they feel like they are trapped at home. And so there's other avenues out there, people, that you can go and talk to other people, and you just have to explore what they are. Like tonight, we're on Zoom.
I kind of feel trapped, even though I know I can go out. When I need something simple, like say the other day I wanted to go out and buy a 2x4, and I thought, that's dumb. I'm not going to buy a 2x4. And before this, I would have just gotten the truck and went. So I do feel trapped a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're right.
It's not just me, it's bringing it home to my wife too. If I go out and get myself sick, that's my own dumb fault. But then you come home and you give it to somebody else.
Right.
That's pretty rough.
Well, and you have to think about that. So New York City, one of the busiest multi-million people. I think there's 8.9 million people in New York City. So you have one guy walk down through the streets of New York City and he has the corona. And think about how many people, just one man walking down through the streets of New York City with 8.9 million people, he can affect.
It expounds exponentially.
Yes.
That's
so when they're sitting here telling you stay at home, by God, I stay at home. Nancy and I don't go anywhere. I went to the grocery store a couple of times, and let's put it this way. When I open the door to the car, it's electronic remote, but my hand had to touch it. I reached in. I didn't touch the steering wheel. I didn't touch the seat belt. I reached in and took put the stuff all over my hands, and I put it on the keys too, because guess what? The keys come out of my hands, and I sterilized everything, and then got in the car and went home.
Did you sterilize the door handle after you touched it?
No, I didn't sterilize the door handle, but after I got the groceries and I put them all in there, we sterilized everything and wiped everything down, and it went through that same process again.
Mm-hmm.
Ken McCrory put something out there in the YouTube chat about rats in New York, and I was looking at some of the pictures of all those rats running around the streets now there, and New Orleans too. Just couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah, they're thinking that's why New Orleans is.
That was walking down Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
no.
that was awesome.
Did you see the thing that they put that the people in Russia from downtown Russia? What was it? Anyway, the major city, they turn lions loose to keep people off the streets. And I went like,
that sounds kind of fake news.
Well,
Yeah.
as soon as I saw that, and I put, you really believe that?
But
They're turning lions.
It would make a great reality show, though. I'd pay to watch that.
But how much? Let's go to this. How much false news is out there? I mean, really, you go to ABC, CNN, Fox News, CNN, all these places. How much false news are they actually putting out there? I look at, I take about 100% in my ear, and out this ear, about 10% I digest, because they're so full of crap on all these stations that I don't believe it all. Anybody else?
Yeah, there's companies out there like trolls from China and Russia, and that's their job, is to get us all against each other within. They put out all kinds of fake news and.
Yeah, I believe that. It's fake news.
It does have the potential, though, to make countries work together a little more.
In some ways, yes.
Yeah. So you hope that's what happens. You hope
in
nobody
some
tries
ways,
to take
yes.
advantage of it. So.
Okay, Mr. Steve Good, how has this affected you and your home?
I think it's the same as everybody. I'm nervous. It's the first time in my life I've ever felt this way. I didn't live through World War II, obviously, and that's the last event I can think of that would be anywhere near what we're going through right now. So to say I'm not scared, I think I'd be lying. I'm not changing anything I do other than staying home. I mean, I'm still working. You realize a lot of noise in the background. You realize that my job is basically sitting here in front of a computer all day anyway. So for me to stay home, that's my norm. If I was still working, I think I would be terrified.
Yeah, when you were working for Xerox, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you still had to go out and service those machines at this point.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do it.
In fact, those machines, because of the way the virus stays, they're plastic.
Yeah.
Think about it this way: every time somebody picks up a piece of paper off the platen, I mean, I realize there's a document feeder, but there could be a possibility there. It's amazing. It's amazing.
What I would want in that case is I would want to be one of the first ones to get it. Get it. Get in the hospital while it's not full. Hopefully you survive. And then have a little bit of immunity, just let me be first.
Well, the problem that I've heard over in China, they're running through, I'm not saying this is really news. I just read something today that China is going through its second thing of the virus because it has mutated. So,
and the other thing that I'm seeing as far as my blog is the emails. Like I said, they've gone way back up, and a lot of the emails are just people checking on me, how you doing, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, which is really nice for me, they say thank you for keep doing it because we're stuck at home. At least we got something to do. So
Yes.
I feel a little bit of an obligation now to even work harder than I was, because in some small way, I'm contributing a little bit back to people, at least having some enjoyment, so.
Yes, because you're producing patterns and they have something to do.
Yeah. So those are probably the only real differences between what I'm doing now and what I was doing before. My daughter came over to visit the other night, and she sat in her car at the end of the driveway, and we stood at the top of the driveway and talked to her, so crazy things like that. But the blog is pretty much the same.
You're right. My son-in-law, and I'm not going to mention which one of the people on his crew tested positive for the coronavirus. And they were actually telling him at this point that he can't leave the work. He was going to be shut down, and they were going to have to make preparations for him to be there. And
they wouldn't let the guy that got infected leave, or your son-in-law?
Oh, everybody.
Oh,
regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, once he was tested and it was positive, they're locking everybody down. So my daughter was all upset and called my wife, and we were talking about it and everything. And because we watched the one grandchild all the time, and he wants to come and see Grammy and Papa. And since this went down, it's like, there's no way he's coming over to the house or whatever. And everybody's upset, and I understand that. But according to what we found out, the guy that they thought was positive wasn't positive or whatever. My point is, isn't that a scary situation? Because it not only affects my son-in-law, but immediately affects his wife and his 2 kids, and then everybody that filters down from them. So
my grandson was over on Monday, and because my daughter had to pick some stuff up for work, so they stopped by for a little bit, and he goes, "Hey, Poppy, I don't want to kill you with the virus, but can you go downstairs on your computer and turn on Minecraft so I can go play it?" He's like 8 years old, like, sure, Michael, let's go down there and get it started.
All right, so get off this virus thing. Paul, what have you been doing in your shop?
Well, I have been, I just finished a video and put it up last night. I got contacted by the company that makes Dowel Max, doweling jig, and they asked me to do a review and a video of their doweling system. And I told them that I don't use dowels that often. And they said, "Hey, I don't care. We'll send you one. You play with it and practice with it and do a video. And then you can keep the jig."
I tried to get Paul to send it to me since he doesn't use dowels and I use dowels all the time. I'm like, I'll do the video, Paul, send it.
You should do a joint video, like a collab.
Yeah,
Hey,
so I put that up.
Hey, Paul, did you get a new camera or better lights or something? Your video looks much better.
No, I did. I think I cleaned the lens of the camera.
It looks good.
Nothing's changed. I've been gonna change out my lights to LEDs in my workshop, but I haven't done it yet. And but thank you.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And
Brenda.
Yes, sir.
So what's going on? Are you are doing on your shop?
Well, I haven't been doing much in the shop at all. I do have a video that I need to get edited, but I'm the master of procrastination. And I have been putting it off. It's about my sticker board project, and eventually I will get to it. I don't know when, but I've been doing a lot of cooking. I've been canning some stuff and dehydrating some stuff, and you can't get convenience foods at the store anymore because they've done cleaned off all the shelves. So I'm having to make things like soup and and put stuff up so that I have food here for convenience when I'm in a hurry. And I'm going to get away from all this convenience food thing because I've been taught the hard way that you cannot depend on it anymore. So I'm going to have cans of different kinds of soup in my own pantry that I have made myself. That way I know exactly what I'm getting, and I know that I can get it when I need it.
I forgot to mention, Russ, if I can, every morning at 9 o'clock, I watch Dave Gatton show.
You watch what?
Nothing.
Hey, Paul.
Well, that's right. I shouldn't say that. Never mind.
I think we're going to be one less member after that.
And this time it's not Al.
It's going to be a square open.
All right. So,
we do kind of look like the Brady Bunch today, don't we?
Yeah, really.
He's right in the center. Oh my gosh, I love it.
what?
We've got 9 squares on the
So Aussie Man said, at this time at home, isn't anyone? Can somebody read that because my glasses are
all this time at home? Isn't anyone else out there in the shop making stuff? We all say we need more time in the shop. Well, here it is. Well, the problem that I've got here is that it still isn't warm yet. And when it does warm up, it's pouring the rain. And I don't want to be out there with extension cords running and stuff in the pouring rain, dealing with electrical and
just
water.
makes it a bit more exciting.
Well, yeah, but so does the virus. And I don't want to mess with that either. We've got to get it warmed up a little bit more yet. It's still early here. We're still in March.
Yeah, we get the same problem. Yeah, we had a couple of days in the 50s. It was pretty good.
Well, it's been in the 50s or lower 60s here, but when it does get that warm, it pours. We had a big thunderstorm here today with the lightning crashing and the dogs going nuts and ballistic and, all that kind of thing here. And I don't want to be out there, trying to catch thunderbolts while I'm trying to saw up a piece of wood.
Are you really that conductive, Brenda?
Yeah.
She attracts all the bright light.
I'm trying to, these are not my good glasses. Yeah.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
Yeah, so, Brenda, you're doing pretty good. So can you go ahead and pop out some questions over there?
Read some of the stuff in the chat, you mean?
Yes, please.
Let's see here. We got Chris Nealon says we have a COVID-19 victim we're planning services for, 35-year-old with wife and son. And I'm very sorry to hear that. There's going to be some casualties through this whole thing of people that we're acquainted with or know of. And that's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, yes, it is. And here's my point is, I don't care who you are or where you're from, what you're doing or anything. And I believe in God and I pray every day. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's just, I look at it this way. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. It doesn't matter where you're at, where you are, what you're doing. And if the coronavirus takes you out, it's just one of those things that just, it's
when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. You're not
That's
going
the
to
way I
argue.
look
I'm
at
not
it.
going to step in front of a bus.
Well, this is true. This
Exactly.
But the bus might run over the curb
or
and get you
step
anyway.
in front of a train. But my same aspect is that everybody thinks in the same situation that, it's like.
Well, I think what
Never
you're trying
mind.
to say is if it wasn't the virus, then it would be something else. I mean, when it's your
Yes.
numbers up, your numbers up, you're going to go and you're not going to argue about it. And it, while it's sad that it had to be that way, it would be sad if it was any other way too. So
That's what I was trying to point. Thank you, Brenda.
you're welcome.
Very well said, Brenda.
Let's see. Aussie Man says, every night I got these woodworkers keeping me up with their morning blogs.
Hey, Aussie, put your phone on airplane mode, man. That's what I do at night.
Or grab a cup of coffee and join them. If you can't beat them, join them, Aussie.
Dave Hart says that they've got lightning coming through Pennsylvania right now. Hey, honey, it was here just a little while ago in the Indiana, on the east side of Indiana, and I just sent it right on over there to you. I knew that you needed it worse than I did. So you're welcome. You know, I do what I can.
All right, I got a joke. So this guy is out shooting ducks, and he shot a duck and hit over into the barn on the other property, and it fell down. So he walked over, and the farmer standing there, and he goes like, "Look, I shot that duck, and he fell over here into your property. I'm here to get the duck." The farmer said, "You don't understand. This is my property." So it hit my barn, fell on the ground, and now is my property. So they argue back and forth and said, all right, the farmer said, the only way that we can settle this is we'll have to take it man on man. I will kick you in the groin as hard as I can, and afterwards you kick me in the groin as hard as I can, and we keep going back and forth, and whoever is standing after will get the duck. So the guy says, okay. So he stands there, and the farmer kicks him in the groin, and he's laying on the floor or on the agony, just because he got kicked in the groin and everything. It's like 20 minutes goes by, and he finally stands up. And he goes, okay, I guess it's my turn. The farmer looks at him and says, you can have the duck.
Where do you hear these jokes at?
I know, really. I know. Need a better internet site.
That's 0 for 2 tonight.
You got that right.
He did get a duck out of it, though, so
Yeah.
it's not a total loss.
I mean, that was a real clean joke. Okay.
Anywho.
Ken McCrory is out there, and he says that he's working on an intarsia pattern. He got it cut out today. He's going to do the shaping on it tomorrow.
Sweet.
Chris, you are back in your shop now.
Yep, I cracked it open. Had to get rid of the original table, so I gave that away to a local neighbor. So it's working again. I don't know what the miracle was that happened, but I suddenly had 2 table saws. So
it didn't like you.
You know what? It was 10 years old. I don't know if it's going to crap out on him or not. That's why I just gave it to him. And I told him what had happened too. So he knew what he was getting into. But I got it sort of cleaned out today. I'm still trying to figure out how it got so messy since I haven't been out there since October. So
I saw that picture you posted, and you're like, how the hell did this get so messy when I haven't been out here?
Yeah, well, those are the plates. That's the last summer project, but there's tons and tons of dust on the floor and shavings from the lathe, and I could have sworn I cleaned up before I shut it down. So tools scattered everywhere.
I clean that every time I leave my shop.
Yeah, maybe I'm taking lessons from you, Paul. So,
yeah.
But, just got to clean off the back bench and get started on the 5 flags I got ordered from last fall. Luckily, she was very patient. So.
Mr. Russ Meadows, you've been tearing that CNC up.
No kidding.
I kind of have.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff you've made. That's awesome, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you selling that stuff, Russ?
I actually have. The first piece that I started in just before this virus and all hit was that street scene in Paris with the Eiffel Tower in the background. I gave that to our daughter because they had been there. So I said, all right, I'll make that. And I gave it to her. But the plaque that I did, that there was a Jesus with the crown of thorns.
Yes, the Jesus. Yes.
I didn't have anybody in particular in mind for that. I liked it, so I made it. And it's kind of uncanny, but it seems like if you're a God-fearing and believing fella, that it gives you a place to put it. And a friend of mine that gave me my first job straight out of high school, he passed away. And I went to their funeral and I gave it to his wife because she took care of me when I was a kid, babysat while my mother was working.
You did?
Yeah, it just happened. And I said, it seems like it always finds some place to go. And this last one that I just finished, actually, it's not quite finished. The portrait frame that I made with the Jesus and stuff. I did the staining on it. I used Danish oil and let it dry for 3 days. And then I thought about it. And I said, I'm going to put a frame around that. And so what I did, I didn't actually make a frame. It had a frame built in. So I took some Kona Rust-Oleum stain. It's kind of dark. And I put 2 coats of that around the edges to make it look like it's in a frame. And I've let that sit overnight. And I was going to go out today and mess with it, but my days and nights are mixed up right now. So I didn't get out there.
Must be nice is all I got to say.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. Retirement is a wonderful thing. And I'm going to go out there probably tomorrow. And if it's dry enough, then I'm going to put the clear coat on it. And I actually have that sold. That's the only
one. Do you make the patterns for those or how do you?
No, not this particular ones. No. This last one I did was of 2 3D models that I merged together. The framework by itself was one, and the portrait of Jesus was another. And I merged them together to make this one.
Go ahead and tell them, Russ, go ahead and tell them where you get these models from. So if anybody has a CNC and wants to do that, they can follow, go over there.
Well, the guy has a subscription plan, and you can buy the subscription and get access to almost 1,400 of them, Mike, right at this point. But he also has one where you can buy them individually, and you don't have to be a part of the subscription. And you can go to 3dwave.org, and that's all one word. And you can see all the patterns, and you can buy each one of them individually.
Yes, and he's on Facebook.
You got a Facebook group, the CNC Users Forum, I think is still there, or maybe 3D Wave group.
This guy, I want to tell you, because Russ has tried to get me into the group, and I haven't as of yet. But
yeah,
it's like, how much for the whole package?
I don't even know what the price is anymore. He changed the price. He changed the price after he got to, I think it was like 1,200 models. These are all high quality 3D images, and but the price has changed, so I'm not exactly sure what it is now. But I think it's 300 or 350.
Yeah,
and we're at over 1,300 now. And I just resubscribed for the next year. And and when I started last year in March, I paid $250. That's what it was at that time. And I come in, I had 287 models at that time. And we were over about 1,100 by the end of the year, because he's just popping them out left and right.
That sounds great.
So are they like G-code files, or do you have to put them in a?
You have to do that yourself. These are just the STLs, the models.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do your own tool paths and stuff. But when you start out with top quality like this is, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
And you know, the guy, this is not his only thing that he does. He's actually a furniture maker, and that's his main business. And he makes some of the most beautiful furniture I've ever seen. But he's out of Moldova, over there by the Ukraine area, back in that area. And I've been using his models way before he even started this. He was giving them away. And I have a lot of his stuff from back in the time where he just gave them to anybody that wanted them. And he decided to, people were stealing a lot of his stuff, and it kind of ticked him off. And so he started the group, and he started it as a subscription. And still, some people would pay the subscription and go in and then steal them and pass them off as theirs, selling them other places. And he just got pretty well fed up with it all. And so he's kind of changed some things. And but I'm still part of that group, and I get them. I get a lot every month.
No, it's well worth the money. I know that.
It is for what
and
you get.
Russ has tried. I just haven't had the opportunity to spend that amount of money.
Well,
but
I am not trying to force anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. I just put the information out, and if you choose to, then that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. You can always buy them individually. You won't get every one of them because some of them are exclusive to the subscriber group, the Club A that I'm a part of, that are not sold to anybody else.
Yes.
But a lot of them are. So, and
I mean, this guy has quality.
Yes. If you could see his furniture, it looks like old world furniture, and is absolutely freaking gorgeous. And he's actually started a furniture group that I am involved in, and I can buy the patterns from that at a fairly cheap rate, and do some of those things as well. I haven't bought any of them yet, but I'm in that group, and I look at some of that stuff, and my mind gets blown of how he does this. He's not a master craftsman. He'll tell you that, but he studied under him, but he's not a master himself. But what he does is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It is
unbelievable.
Some of those patterns are just like,
but anyways,
blow me away.
I took two this last portrait. I thought, well, I love the frame, the Jesus pattern itself.
That Jesus pattern you did, oh my God, that is like.
And I took the frame that I thought fitted the best, and I put those two together and merged them. And that's what I did. That's how I carved this last one. And as soon as I get out there tomorrow, I put the clear coat, it's gone.
If you
how big is that pattern that you made?
This last one was 10 wide, 14 tall.
Okay. That'd fit on my Shapeoko.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah. All right, who's doing the live here?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to do those? That last one.
That's a tough question. I can't quite remember. The finishing tool path, I think, was about 9 hours, and the rough end was about 6 or 7.
Really, for the detail that's
in it, so that one wasn't that bad. There are some that are a heck of a lot worse than that. Yeah, look at the Twin Towers, and New York firefighters.
Yeah, I don't know who's putting that up there, but that's gorgeous.
Yep, awesome.
What he puts out, you know. And here's the thing, I started originally just picking out the ones I wanted and not doing the others. And then my wife got to talk to me about it, and she said, that's pretty stupid. I said, what do you mean? She said, just because you don't like it or you don't think you can use it doesn't mean that somebody else might like it and you would miss out on a sale of it because you didn't have it. And so I went back and I got every stinking one of them now. And every one that comes out, whether I think I can use it or not, since I paid for it, they end up costing me about 20 to 30 cents a piece for the price I paid for the amount that I've got.
Yeah.
And stuff. So, and a lot of this stuff, that stuff is gorgeous.
How thick are those ones you did?
It depends. It depends on which pattern you put out there, because there's
those two you just did.
Okay, I start with 1-inch boards, on those two that I did. And there's some though. There's one of them on there that I think that it's a nurse's emblem with the caduceus with the snake all wrapped around it, something along those lines, and the head comes out, and it comes out to you, so you have to use a thicker board to make that snake head kind of pop. If you don't, you lose some of the definition. You don't get all of it. So you have to judge it based on that.
V-Carve or V-Carve Pro or
here's the deal with V-Carve. There you go. There's my Jesus right there.
That's awesome.
That is
now you take that,
beautiful.
Take that and imagine the framework around it. That it is dark. I mean dark brown, almost black. That Kona is a really dark brown, and I coated it around the edges to make it look like a frame. And so tomorrow I'll get out and spray that. But the frame was a SDL, a model by itself, and the Jesus was by itself. And I took the two and I expanded them till they made it all up into one. And after I did that, I saved it as one STL. So now I can go back and pop that one without having to remake it every time. So anytime
now, what
I want.
program did you do that in?
Well, let me tell you this. With V-Carve Pro, I could have done either one, but not both. V-Carve Pro will only allow you to suck in one outside STL from a third party, another company. And then you could put any amount of others that are Vectric related with it. And as this sits now, I've made it into one. So I could take this whole image into V-Carve Pro and add anything else I wanted to it or with it in the same deal. This was done using Aspire. Aspire, you can do as many of anything as you want. And so I have that, so I stuck them together. But with V-Carve Pro, it does have slight modeling. You can't adjust anything. You can carve it, but you can't adjust anything on the model itself. So that's a limitation with V-Carve Pro. It's a great program. It works fine. I got that too. But to do 3D modeling where you want to merge and add to a particular one, you cannot do it in V-Carve Pro. You have to have Aspire or another program to do it in.
Right. No, Aspire is the ultimate as far as CNC.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I've gotten into the 3D models a fair amount now. I kind of like them a lot. I enjoy doing them. Yeah. Time consuming, but I still enjoy doing them, and I like how they turn out. And this cat here is, he's pretty good. And
yeah,
he does some of the designs.
You're paying the big bucks for Aspire. I think it's what, $1,400?
No, that's if you upgrade.
Yeah, if you upgrade.
If it's a $2,000 program on its own.
Yes.
But if you upgrade from V-Carve Pro, it's like $1,300, something like that. But depending on what you want to do, it's worth it. If you want to learn how to make models, that's a good starting point. If you just want to carve them, and you just want to carve one of them at a time from another company that doesn't come from Vectric, then V-Carve Pro will do just fine. It will carve it just the same as that one was.
Yes.
So
V-Carve Pro is actually I started off with V-Carve Pro.
Yeah.
And used it for a long time, but then I went like, all right, so you can take a picture and bring it into Aspire and then I'm like, oh my God. Oh yeah, I gotta have I gotta have it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, carbide.
Vectric sees this, sends me my check in the mail.
Yeah.
Could you combine those in like Corel Draw and then take them over to Vector?
You can, yes, Paul. I have done that too because I'm so fluent in creating things in Corel Draw that I can create some of the stuff and then export it as a DXF file or an SVG as far as a vector graphics file, and import it into Aspire or the other, and then use it. Yes.
I got a question though. Once you import it, you still have to go in and put the keypads in, right?
I didn't hear what you said.
You have to.
You broke up a little bit.
And you have to tell it, I want to cut around the outside of this, or pocket this, or drill a hole here, or change
Yes.
it to use a V-bit. You still
You're
have.
making the G code. Yes.
Yes.
You're actually making it doesn't give you the G code. It gives you the image to work with, and you decide what you're going to do with it.
Exactly.
If I wanted to put text on that, if I had the room, I took the extra wood off. If I wanted to put text on that thing, I could have done that. That's another tool path. And I would have had to tell it that I wanted to do, and I would have had to tell it to project it onto the 3D pattern, and it would have put that text exactly where I wanted it, using whatever font I told it to use, and it would have just carved out with a V-bit, or I could have just pocketed it out and raised the text, and that would have been with an end mill or a ball nose.
I have a question, Russ.
Which one?
I have a question on that image there. You said you could only import one STL. I have VCarve Pro. You'd be able to import that frame and carve it out, and then maybe import the other image of the picture, carve that out, and just drop that insert in there.
Guess what? You know how difficult that is to get that just exactly right?
Okay. Yeah.
You could do that. But
you'd have to make a blank and make sure that dimension
you have to make sure everything fits,
and then do the real one.
And let me tell you, I did this one, and I made a mistake. This is the first one I ever did, and it was supposed to be one solid piece of wood, and I made a mistake when I did this first one, and this one didn't fit. So I actually had to put it on another piece of wood and just stick it in the back. So I'm not going to do anything with this one. I'll make another one and send it on where it's all actually one piece of wood. This was an STL, a frame that was on that page that I got as one of the patterns. And this I made myself. And I put them in there where I thought everything was right, and it wasn't. And
too cool, Jim.
Yeah, nobody knows the difference that you did that.
That's one of the patterns.
That's me. I just found this on Etsy. I was wondering if this is the same guy.
He has an Etsy page. I'm not exactly sure. Can't remember which name he has. He's trying to get away from Etsy, and I don't think that's his. No.
These are awful cheap.
Yeah, those are not his.
Yes, they are, and you're right, Steve. They are out there, but there's a group on Facebook. That you can join, and it's like a couple of $100, but everything that he puts out there,
those are not his.
Yeah, those are not
3D
his.
Planet Art. That's not him.
Oh, this is a lady.
Yeah, and I looked at the name at the top, 3D Planet Art. Yeah, there are
that
some
dragon thing is pretty cool though.
Yeah, his stuff is so much better than that. It's unbelievable.
The issue I had when I did some signs like that, 20 years ago, is the people just didn't want to pay for the CNC time.
I know.
So I'd have to go with, just a lot of times
the-
I'd cut out the parts and glue them, and I could do it quicker. That's back when they didn't have V-carve.
Yeah.
And then with a Dremel, smooth it out with a Dremel. Cut the pieces out, glue them on top, and smooth it out because they didn't want to pay for the CNC time.
Well, here's the thing.
They're
Do you think that's changed though, Dixon?
With V-carve, well, no, it didn't change. They still don't want to pay for that CNC time. They always, I get more for doing just. There's 3 different types of carving, and that's actually, well, you can say that's 2.5.
Yeah.
dimensions, but with Aspire, maybe call it 3.
They call it 3.
That Z time up and down, they just don't want to, for that final pass. It's tough to.
I'm gonna disagree a little bit. You make more money doing the flat 2D signs and carvings. That's true, because those are a lot cheaper price, and people don't seem to mind us paying those. But when you make something like these, the right person sees it, it's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
It's gone. But it's like anything else. The right person has to see it.
Right.
And stuff. I put these on the groups that I'm in, and you better believe how many people fell in love with it.
Oh yeah.
But one or two people asked me, "Is it for sale?" And I said, "Yeah." So I PM'd and told them what the price was, and a couple of them said, "That's too rich for me." I said, "Okay, that's fine." I said, "The price ain't going to go down; it's going to go up next week."
Sure.
And the right person saw it.
Yeah.
And it's gone. So
if
that's
you
just
get somebody from New York,
it's like anything else.
Right. If you get somebody from the right place, New York or Chicago, and they see that, that's nothing to them. They'll take it right away.
Yeah. This is a local person that saw this, and she picked it up right away. So, it's amazing. Yeah.
Hey, Russ, here's a guy.
Care less, because I like doing them.
Hey, Russ, here's a guy I follow on YouTube. This is out of Russia too. They do large scale work.
Yeah.
They have several pretty good size CNC machines, and they do incredible stuff.
Some of those CNC machines will have 15 heads on them, and they'll do 15 at one shot.
Wow. Well, the guy that I use, that I'm friends with, his name is Vitaly.
Wow.
And Diakonu, I think is how he pronounces his last name. But like I said, this is not his main field of interest. Yeah, those are nice.
How are they undercutting those things?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
They flip them. I've been watching this guy, and they'll flip them.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. They flip them on a 90-degree axis or
180.
180? Okay.
Yeah. But some of their panels will be, 8 foot long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, yeah, I get that, but I wondered how they got up underneath there to do the rib cage and legs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to find one of their big ones.
Yeah, if I could show you how the furniture this guy does, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
The furniture that this cat makes, that's his main focus is the furniture. That's where he makes his money. And he's a designer for the 3D as well, but he has designers that work for him that do this, and he pays them. And it's just it's unbelievable what kind of furniture this guy puts out.
Yeah, my friend was building homes in Chicago, and they'll spend $30,000 just on one room on wood like that, woodworking like that, trim.
Yeah.
It's nothing to them.
Yeah.
Ironworking too. My nephew works for a company here south of Chicago that does ironwork, like, railings and spiral staircases and stuff like that. And they make a fortune doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I have
companies.
that same file right there. I have that. That was given to me free.
That's
when
beautiful.
When the guy was not doing it for money, he was just giving patterns away. I got that one for one of his free ones. I haven't carved it yet, but I have one of where the table is straight as well, instead of curved in a U shape. But I mean, it's phenomenal work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I learned that a long time ago. Specialty work like that, if I had to take and draw that up in CAD, you're better off doing exactly what you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have one. I worked on a guy's CNC and I repaired it for him, and I happened to see he had Bobcat 21, and I happened to see that disc he had there with there's like 20,000 images, and they're all DXF files. And I said, hey, I'll get this running for you if you give me that copy of that disc.
Yeah, the DXF files are not 3D models. You can make them into 3D models if you know how to do it.
Yeah.
But the ones I get are STLs, are already models, and they're already baked. It's what it is what it is. And
That's amazing.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wow, look at that crown. Isn't that cool?
It's really cool.
Wow.
But with VCard Pro, you can suck one in at a time and put anything with it that VCard Pro has or Vectric makes, Design and Make. Their software, you can add anything to it that you want. With the one
Russ,
that I did.
Do you have one of these machines?
Do what?
Do you have a machine like this?
I don't have one like that. At this point in time, I don't need one like that. That's more production work and I'm hobby.
Russ, can I ask you a personal question?
Okay.
Weren't you the one, and I could have the wrong person, that had his CNC machine sitting behind him like for about a year?
No, that wasn't me.
All right. Okay.
All right, hold on now. I'm gonna put this out there. That was Grant, by gosh. Grant Davis. He had it sitting behind him for a year before he took it out, and now he's on fire with it.
Okay. All right.
That son of a gun hasn't stopped since he got started. You know, he beat my record. Mine was only 5 months.
Okay. Yours was 5 months there.
I took 5 months to get my shop cleaned up and ready and built a table for it. And I've been going ever since. But Grant beat my record, boy. I'm telling you, he got the monkey off my back. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I was the one until I got ragged on about that every week.
Yeah.
But,
well, you're still getting ragged about it, huh?
yeah, but the monkey's off my back now. Grant took a year, and that took it off of me.
It's kind of weird because the company I work for makes all the end stop and the limit detectors for Avid. So every time I see somebody in the community group get a new Avid CNC, I'm like, yeah, those are our
the limit switches.
The limit switches. They're all ours. Yeah.
Wow.
It was the green ones. Yep.
I don't have limit switches on mine. I don't see the need for it. Some folks do, but
yeah, if you got an industrial version of something, then you probably need that.
You would need that.
I don't have limit switches on mine.
I don't need any of it.
Yeah, you guys make them sick eyes and them Keons.
Yeah, no, Keons is a kind of a competitor of ours, but
I know, I'm just kidding. I know what you
mean. No, Keons is a good company though. They can make some really high precision laser measurement instruments. They make microscopes and stuff. Yeah. They're a good company. I
program their cameras and that. We got like 5 cameras.
Yeah, cameras.
Every section of this machine, there's like 20, 30 some cameras watching the product, and it's a lot better than the banner.
Yeah, Keons is a good company. They're Japanese. I mean, so if you want to work with Asian stuff, that's the company to go to.
Aussie man says his limit switches are his fingers.
Fingers. Yeah, good Aussie. Just keep that finger out there and keep jamming it at the end. That's good.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm gonna pull out. I gotta take off.
Okay. Well, hold on, Chris.
Okay.
You got to do the outro, man.
Okay.
If you don't,
you got to give me at least a couple of more minutes.
Hey, Russ, let me share something real quick too when you have time.
Oh no, go ahead.
I'm going to share my screen and tell you a little bit about this work. Can you see it yet?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I want you to look at the quality of the cut of this. It's pretty well done. Not the best I've ever seen, but pretty well done. But here's the story behind this. The gentleman that cut these is 66 years old. 25 years ago, he met face to face with a train. He lost his right leg, he lost his right arm, and he lost all but 2 fingers on his left hand.
Wow. That's a hell of a cut job.
Is that amazing?
Yes.
He does that with 2 fingers.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Anyway, I'm going to be doing a story on him hopefully this summer. We're going to get together because I think he's a great inspiration for people that are.
Let me know, and let me know when you do that story. And then afterward, I'll ask him if he can do the. Live, and we'll bring him on the show.
Yeah, that'd be a great.
He's very comfortable talking about his disability, Well, he's been this way for so many years. He's
Yeah, I'd
used
love
it.
to have him on the show.
You know what else would be good to hear is that how he went from being, I don't want to say normal, but as somebody that could do anything with normal, appendages or whatever you want to call it,
Exactly.
to what he went to, what he had to go through to go to this. So I think that'd be a great thing for people to hear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just
Anyway,
wanted to share
Steve,
that real
if,
quick.
ask him if he'd like to be on the show, and
Okay.
he has the capability of being on the show.
He actually lives pretty close to me, so we're going to try to hook up this summer once we get by all this mess we're in.
Awesome.
And actually, I
Right.
think he lives pretty close to Brenda because he's over in the west coast of Ohio.
The west coast of Ohio, like they've got a big beach and an ocean next to Brenda, I didn't know you had a beach over there. You were all
Nobody
down on me.
wants to be up there where Brenda's at.
My
She's-
backyard is a beach.
Is it? Yeah, you got lakefront
She's like
property.
Ohio.
A
She's
snowy
like the
beach.
no man's land. Nobody wants to be up there with her.
She's got lakefront property with all that rain they've been having.
Yeah. All right, we're cutting out of here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And there's only one thing we have left to do. If you're too darn busy to be in the shop and not make some sawdust, then you're too darn busy. You got that?
Got it.
Got it.
Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair.
Night,
Good
boys
night,
and girls.
everybody.
Night.
Thank you for
Night,
being
everybody.
here, and God bless.
Remember, you don't
Bonsoir,
have to go
Michelle.
home. You don't have to go home, but actually you do now. But you definitely can't stay here.
Night, y'all.
Yeah, you gotta go home.